Hey there, Philos here. This video is going to be an update to follower setups in patch 2.4.1. And this is tuned for Demon Hunter solo greater rifting, but can be carried over to pretty much any solo spec. And the big change here isn't actually any different, it's just more valuable and more important to take advantage of. And that is the Oculus Ring. It was changed to where this will proc off of your kills. In the past, your follower actually had to land the killing blow to proc the effect, which would only happen a couple times throughout a whole 15-minute rift. But now, the proc will happen from your actual kills, and with a very short internal cooldown, this buff is going to be potentially up almost all the time. And in the past, last patch, it was actually changed to a multiplier from being additive damage increase, so the effective damage increase from this buff is extremely significant. So this will be a staple follower ring for everyone. There's no exception. For solo greater rifting, you will want an Oculus ring on your follower, no question. As for the other items and the abilities, that's kind of flexible. It's pretty much the same as it was for Demon Hunter. The weapon, you should have a Thunder Fury to get your little slow effect. The necklace, you want the SEO Han to pull them in. The ring, Oculus. The shield, the freeze of deflection. And then obviously you need the cannot die token. And then the other ring, it's kind of a flexible slot here. I like the rearward for the occasional stun. It doesn't proc often, but it is there. It is something. The other option for the ring here is Unity. If you're looking to take advantage of the dual Unity, you can substitute that out. As for the stat priority on the items, the only thing that's really important is the stack attack speed and cooldown reduction. Cooldown reduction does work with your follower abilities, and attack speed is going to increase the frequency of their attacking, which is going to increase the proc rate of these effects. And for the abilities, what I have here is kind of like a healing survivability Templar setup. So I'm going with the heal, the life regen, the stun, and then the other heal. You can, some builds, depending on the resource management and stuff, Inspire is really good. Rather than having two heals, the resource generation is really good. Again, that kind of depends on the build. And so this is what kind of like the foundation setup that I would run. And then we can look at the Enchantress. The Scoundrel's kind of not really got a place. The biggest issue with the Scoundrel is the weapon. There's not really a good weapon for him to use. He can't use the Thunder Fury, so you're not getting any utility out of that weapon. So Scoundrel's kind of not really got a place. But the Enchantress, you can run the Enchantress as an alternative to the Templar. If you don't need the healing, then the Enchantress is usually preferred. And a lot of people will not spec this first ability, because it can kind of just be more of a hassle than it's worth. You got the charm and a knockback here, and depending on the build you're trying to kite and position the monsters, this can just cause more harm than good. So a lot of times you just leave that empty, and then the rest of it, it's kind of straightforward, not much. You got the powered armor, erosion, focus mind. You get your attack speed, a little damage thing, and yeah, I mean, it's not really much. But the big advantage of the Enchantress is with the Thunder Fury, the Enchantress attacks at more range. So it's kind of, I like to refer to it as the leash length for the follower, because the Templar is melee. Let's say that like this guy right here is the Rift Guardian, and I'm standing about right here. If I'm this far away from the Rift Guardian, my Templar is actually not going to engage him, because the leash only goes to like here. Whereas with the Enchantress, because she attacks at range, even though the leash is only to here, she's going to go here and attack from there. So the Enchantress has a longer leash, so she'll have further range, and it's going to have a higher uptime on your Thunder Fury procs and things like that. But that's like a very specific situation in which the Enchantress has that over the Templar. But generally, if you're trying to go with a survivability setup, you're going to want the Templar. It is ultimately a preference choice. It could go either way. They're both really good. Depending on the build, you might want to take advantage of one or the other. That's pretty much it. I don't want this video to end up being too long. It's probably already longer than it needs to be, but I just kind of wanted to throw all this at you so you guys know what the follower setups are going to look like next patch. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.